music of the spheres. And to each of them are these like color-coded things that resonate a certain sound and vibration based on where they're placed, right? So in the moment of your birth is a Polaroid, and then so that sort of X-ray captures the music of the spheres and hands you your karma that you signed up for based on your previous merits, detailed in Michael Newton's Journey of the Souls, where he catalogs hundreds of past life regressions of people that, not just past lives, but in between lives, of people that, oh, we were kicking it with the friend group, and here comes Tommy, and he's wearing his outfit from 3 lives ago, even though he just got done with this live. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So, but you exit your friend group or your soul group, and you decide to incarnate, and there's this thing called the soul contract. So astrology is how that gets carried out bureaucratically, right? And it's very bureaucratic, the afterlife. So you have your social worker, so let's say you like kill someone, right? And you're like, oh, okay, this sucks, right? So so then shit, I did it again. God, I just keep messing up, you know. So when somebody did that, and so they regress, that they go meet their social worker, and the social worker's like that, you know, puts them in a bar of their choosing, you know. Oh, get you some libations. You know what I mean? It's good. By the way, you messed up, and you're gonna have to go live the next life and go through what you put that woman through. So bye, right? So he tried to actually get them to talk about hell, right? And they couldn't, because that dimension is only right here. Isn't that crazy? Right? Like, there is. I've been to hell realms that I could sit up here and freestyle about hell realms for a good hour, but I'm not going to. But anyway, so your chart is how that gets handed on. And so you sign this thing called the soul contract, and that has the details of your parents that you choose and how you're going to die and the accidents that happen to you and so on and so forth, right? One person in particular said, went to Michael Newton, and they had opened a microwave, and there's like a bomb in it or whatever, and they were disfigured on their face. And so they regressed that they chose that, and they went back and said, I forgive you, to the criminal that did it. Also, fun note on that same page is in India. So this boy, he's like 2 years old, he's like, axe, buried. And they're like, why are you talking like this? You're 2. Okay. So come to find out, he actually went to the road where somebody chopped him in the head and killed him and then buried him. And the guy got arrested, and the kid walks up and is like, hey, could you not do that next time? That would be great. So then they think, okay, maybe this is just coincidence, right? So they take the boy over to the family he was a part of, and they tried to switch the uncle and the cousin. He was like, nah, that's my uncle, that's my cousin. That's just science. So in India, they got this figured out. But anyway, so your chart, your zodiac chart, is how all that gets taken care of. So the moment that you're born, that X-ray of the music of the spheres solidifies. And that's not just a stagnant 2-dimensional. Oh my God, it's not 2-dimensional. That's crazy. So it's going to unfold over time, and that snapshot endows you with certain qualities, just like a racing game. When you pick a certain car, there's going to be one that has more traction, but then you sacrifice having top speed or maybe more acceleration. And so each of your elements in the amounts that you have them, everybody has all the signs, everybody has all the planets, but the degree to which you have that is your own gift to yourself from signing the soul contract, right? So your sun is the individuality. Your sun sign is probably one of the least important, but it's just where you're from. You're like, yeah, I'm from Australia, the outback. I get it, right? Never down. Which, by the way, Australians dominate Burning Man. The only peoples that when they get to Burning Man quivers. I'm not even kidding. You ever kicked it with some New Zealand girls who had their generator go on. They go, "Oh, Jenny the jackhammer, where'd you go?" And I just laughing over Jenny. I've spent an hour just laughing about Jenny. So anyway, but they've dealt with it, so they come out here and they make it happen. But anyway, so your sun sign is the individuality. That's why it's a circle with a dot in the middle, because you separated from the other side to come in and temporarily come into samsara, this crazy polarized hologram that will always be Democrat and Republican, no matter how much third party we ever have. So your moon is what you need. So I'm a Virgo sun, right? So calculator brain, let's go, right? However, my moon is in Cancer, and so I need good friends. Angela Hensley, my friend back here, I just brought her for her first burn successfully. It was a great week. And let's give it up for Angela.
Thank you. Woohoo!
So, but we both have moon in Cancer, and so next year, what we're doing? We're doing the moon crab camp, and then right next to us will be the lion, the lunar lions. And so I'm going to astrologically build out just this little trinity, and we're going to try it out. That'll be the nano. We'll do the macro later. But so anyway, so your moon is what you need. So I have moon, and I was born at 2:30 in the afternoon. So that puts my moon in the 7th house. I need relationships. I need people being brought together. I was literally born to be a burner. So, 8 years out here helped me to manifest and be able to evolve that moon to where it's not so crabby and needy. So, I just figured it out. So anyway, my ascendant, so your rising sign is what team you're on. So your sun sign is where you're from. Your moon is where you want all the dials. You want all the temperatures. You want where you like your volumes, with those things that you need, because the moon moves the fastest. And then but your rising is what team you're on, and that's why knowing your birth time is one of the most important things you could do, and is more significant than knowing your own eye color. So that chart is going to unfold over time. So every year the chart will rotate forward what it would have done in a day. So the fastest moving thing is the moon, right? So it takes the moon 3 days to move through a zodiac sign. So that's going to be basically every 3 years. It's 2.5. But you ever notice how Taylor Swift's eras? I asked the AI, I said, well, how much are the eras? And they're like, they go on, right? They bounce around too. I said, just give me an average. Yeah, her Taylor Swift's eras are progressed moon eras. Come to find out, no coincidences were harmed in the making of this data. Just letting you know. So anyways, your chart is not a stagnant thing. It's not 2-dimensional. It's 3-dimensional, perhaps 4 and 5. And over the course of space and time, it will unfold. And so, but your chart is not just your chart with just your forecast. You can have twins born 4 minutes apart, and that little 4 minutes is about a degree on the zodiac, and that will manifest as completely different circumstances. Also, those two twins will not be directly the same because they have this thing called midpoints. And when you hang out with somebody, there's a third chart. So you have two computers and you have this thing called the internet between them, right? So when two people hang out, they create a third chart. When two or more are gathered in my name, I am there in the midst, okay? So when you hang out with somebody, it's like symbiosis. If you ever grown cannabis, you realize if you have an indica next to a sativa, the sativa will take on the thicker leaves, and then the indica will, it's just symbiosis, right? So when you hang out with people, be careful who you hang out with, because you're getting pulled into that, not into their chart, into your composite chart between you. So if you're not careful, Tammy's going to become un-Tammy real fast, okay? And so some of us, like Angela Hensley back there, are born with a giant triangle pointed at the ascendant. So she's like, oh my God, why does my life totally suck? I'm like, because my name's Angela and I take things for granted, right? So what you have to do is know your chart enough to not take it for granted and be able to forgive people that they're not Angela Hensley. Not everybody can be Are you Angela Hensley? No. So, I'm sorry to hear that. I just wanted to make her blush. So, anyway, but the forecast over time, so every 2 years you're going to have these shift of chapters. So I thought, my progressive moon is coming into Aquarius. This is going to be a party. This is going to be great. We're back in the yang signs. By the way, air and fire, yang, electric, and water and earth. Imagine you're at a bridge looking out. Water and earth come at you, and air and fire go that way. Maybe that way. I don't know. Who's counting? So each 2 years it'll be a more inward time and a more outward time, and so this is how God keeps the balance. Half the day, everybody you go to at the convenience store is going to be having a terrible day, and that's balanced out by the people who are having a great day. So, yeah. And then at 30 years old, you have what's called your Saturn return. So, anybody here ever had a birthday? So on your birthday, you'll notice that people are nice to you even though they don't know it's your birthday, right? Like they didn't get the memo. And that's because your sun sign comes back to that. Like let's say the yellow thing in the sky, right now it's in Virgo, right? So it's in green and I'd say G minor because I'm just a fan of that key. But so right now my birthday's in 2 days and it's coming back to that. So now I can get up here and do this. And also the moon is in Sag, getting along with my forecast, and I got clearance to get up here. I waited 9 years to come back to Burning Man until my stars were good enough to get up and do stuff like this. By the way, cheers. So at 30 years old, you have this thing called a Saturn return. So you notice, like my daughter is 24, right? And she is not to her Saturn return yet. So my goal was to get her advanced enough to be able to deal with the unbirthday. And there's 2 Tool albums about it, 10,000 Days and Lateralis, that has the 30 saw blades. And so at 30 years old, you're finally an adult, and that's the point, the real adulthood. At 15, basically 18 is when Saturn is halfway through his cycle, and that's other people. But at 30, you come to realization of your discipline, and if the inspector shows up, and you have all checks and balances in order, then he'll sign off and give you a good life. That's all.